Gather round. It's time for your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. Listen closely as your coaches discuss the culture, the economy, and the political scene, and how it affects your home and your real estate investments. Real Estate Chalk Talk is where you learn the science of buying and selling real estate and the art of living in your home. Your education begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, welcome to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group, hittnergroup.com, Hittner Group.com, 612-627-8000, 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling, and we'd be happy to have a chat with you about your real estate adventure. And that call, of course, is with no cost and absolutely no obligation, 612-627-8000. We are on the final countdown for the big election coming up. And how has it affected the activity during the week? Quiet, quiet, quiet is the word. About the same active listings this week as last week, 7,700, right about exactly the same. Couple different one way or the other. Sales moving through is down about 5%, actually. We're down under 800, 788. 826 last week, so 788. Lower activity. We expect that activity to kind of drift downward as the year progresses. I expect that next week, which is the big election, we will have a very quiet week.
You think so? Next week?
Oh God, I think it's just going to be all the attention is just straight.
Election results come out about 3 a.m. 3
a.m. election results will come up. The riots will start probably about noon the next day. So we'll have that going on. So if you're doing any kind of open house activity in the city, you may want to rethink that.
Do you really think that?
Oh yeah.
No.
How much? You really do?
You don't
think so? How much you want to bet? I don't know.
Yeah. How much do you want to bet?
$50.
I think you're going to see some unrest next week.
No. Everybody's cool.
Everyone is absolutely cool, yeah. Sales, sold year-to-date sales, about the same as last year. I just can't get over that, how it's just almost exactly the same. 28,900 sales this year, year-to-date, and last year, year-to-date, all about the same. Days on market have increased now. We're well over 30 days on market.
Are you finding that with your listings as well, or is that just a stat?
Yeah. No,
okay.
It's both the stat and we've got one listing that's remaining. Everything I'm working on right now, I don't know about you, Keith, but everything I'm working on right now is like, well, a couple of them we're waiting till after the election, to be honest with you, because it's just so slow right now. There's just no point. So we've got a little house in Farmington. Split entry home, beautiful. New roof, just put a new roof on it. They're painting this week, and we'll bring it on next week. Moving to Texas. And that'll be $375 for that nice little split entry. And then we got the $700,000 Rambler coming on in Eagan, brick on all four sides. Just had the stagers out there earlier in the week. And so they're working on kind of moving the things.
That looks like a cool house.
That's a very nice house.
I haven't seen any inside pics, I don't think, yet.
Waiting for the stagers to come.
Okay.
So then I'll get pics done. And then we're good.
Cool yard.
Very nice yard. Almost an acre. Just under
Where
acre.
Is it?
Beautifully. Eagan.
Eagan, okay.
Beautifully landscaped.
What part of Eagan?
You should buy that.
You should buy that.
Yeah, 55121.
It's over by Blackhawk Lake. And
Okay.
Yeah. The old Blue Cross.
Yeah, area.
You're trying to figure out what to do with that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they were going to sell it, but then it got
was supposed to be
down.
a beer company, a distributor.
Yeah.
And then that idea just went south.
This is a beautiful building.
All the kids in Eagan used to do all their soccer right there.
I know. It's such a
that's
cool.
where we spent so much time when the kids were young.
Yeah. So they're kind of spread around Eagan now, but that's just sitting empty.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out what to do with
that
it.
Unbelievable.
Sitting
Yeah.
empty?
You want to go in on it? Do something big?
Yeah.
Do something big?
Yeah.
I got $50.
I got a great place in Savage that we need to sell.
Tell me about it.
4 beds, 1 bath, and a 2-car garage. It's
4 beds, 1 bath.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a disconnect.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a nice bathroom.
Yeah. Very nice bathroom.
So it's 3 beds on the main level.
Okay.
Bathroom on the main level, laundry on the main level.
Is it a Rambler?
I mean, it was at one point probably.
Oh.
I think it was a small 1.5 story.
Okay.
And there's a couple additions that have been put on the house. It was
Okay.
built in like 1950. It's not disjointed though. I mean, it works real well.
Mm-hmm.
There was probably, I think it was a single stall attached garage, and now that's the main level master. And then they have a nice big 2-car plus a legit like cemented in shed in the backyard. Nice big deck, awning. You know, it's a corner lot. Cute house.
How much?
Great curb appeal. $330.
$330.
That's a good
So
price.
yeah.
Can you put in another bathroom somewhere in that
Oh,
thing?
sure.
No.
Oh,
No?
No, you can't. The basement's like a small crawl. It's not a crawl. It's full height ceiling, but it's just mechanical space downstairs.
Okay.
Like small, the original footprint. So you're not really doing anything downstairs.
where's the laundry?
Main level.
So there's no way to hook a bathroom on in back of that
It's
somehow?
near the bathroom
Oh,
already.
okay.
So there really is no
Yep.
adding. There really is no adding. I mean,
Oh,
I've
okay.
looked at it enough
Okay, yeah,
to
I'm
be
sure
able
you
to
have.
say the answer is no.
Yep.
But it has a nice big living room on it. Huge dining space, little vault, kitchen's good size. Cute, super cute home. And then there's a half-story upstairs. It'd be great for like a teen or something up there, or whoever you want to stick up there. But it's a really nice house in a great area, Savage. Walkable to like the restaurants and things that are in downtown Savage, and it's a great spot.
No, what I like, I've been holding this house open Tyler Street Northeast, $300,000. 1.5 story. Upstairs is that nice big, bedroom lofty area there with a bathroom. Great. So it's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Terrific. 3-car garage in Northeast Minneapolis. It needs a little TLC, but not really that much. The kitchen's super duper. It's got all new appliances and nice. The bathroom on the main level needs to be touched up. So it needs to have a surround. So that's the main gripe that I have
Boy,
with
you're
people
still-
coming in. That
still
just
struggling with
drives
that
me
name.
crazy. And I look at that area. So I've held it open a number of times, and I get
Right.
people through all the time. And they all have the same comments. So now I got a handyman coming in, going to give me a quote on just redoing the surround on that tub so that I can eliminate the eliminators, you know what I mean? And but I drive up and down Central Avenue.
Okay.
That's the more I drive up and down Central Avenue, the better I like it.
The more you just want to move there yourself.
I know it.
You should buy that.
I should buy it and move up there. It's such a neat area, and there's so much there. I look at people, and there's so many people walking around. They're walking around. They're pushing their baby carriages. They're going in and out of the shops. It's just a very neighborhoody neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And little bars on the corners, lots of little restaurants and stuff like that. It's just now I get it why people love Northeast Minneapolis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's why I want to move to like Highland Park or something.
Highland Park is like that too.
Yeah, I'd just love to live there.
Yeah, Highland's great.
When I get older.
When you
When
grow
I
up.
grow up, yep.
Yeah.
I can see it.
So
That's cool.
with that, we have rounding out the year. What is the forecast that you guys have? First of all, I want to have election forecast. What's your prediction, Keith Reno?
God, it's so hard.
Come on,
It's so hard.
put yourself out there. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought Kamala.
Whatever her name is.
I have a hard time with her name.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Okay.
I thought she was gonna win just because of
The machine behind her.
Yeah, the machine, the mainstream media. I mean, she didn't really do much she kind of just was placed in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody got on board with that, everybody being, your mainstream media, to push this candidate that hasn't really demonstrated why she should be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think that the mainstream media does a good job of that.
Yeah.
So that's a concern of mine, and, I don't know. But I think as of late, like the last couple weeks, for whatever reason, that's kind of changed for me. And I don't know if it's because I'm paying attention more, because I've kind of stopped paying attention to political stuff
I
for
know.
about 8 years now, 10 years. Bull, you do. You say you don't pay attention.
I don't pay
do.
attention.
It's all
I
you pay attention to.
I pay attention to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So you still think Kamala's going to
For some reason I do, yeah.
Oh, really? I think
Yeah.
Trump's going to win. I don't know if that's just hope or if it's. I just think he's going to win. I just see the momentum change. Just watch him on Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Yep.
I watched the whole 3 hours, and now his VP pick is going to be on. Is just recorded yesterday,
Oh, did he?
so he's coming up. He'll be on. Today. Maybe.
Did you see Elon at the Madison Square Garden or whatever.
Yeah, he's kind of a goofball.
Awkward.
He's an awkward guy.
He is so awkward.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
I guess when you're a genius like that, you can be awkward and get away with it.
Yeah, but if he's actually put in a position to be, waste committee, he'll probably get some things done.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Gosh.
I'm sure he will. They asked him how much you think you take off the budget, and he's about $2 trillion.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Well, he said, "What's the budget?" Okay, we'll do that.
yeah.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
You make it. You go to the budget. You don't exceed the budget.
Right.
And we cut things. And
He is an awkward dude.
he's an awkward dude, but I think he's really smart. And I think I'm leaning that Trump can win this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm nervous about it.
I'm very nervous about it.
But I think whoever wins is going to win big.
Mm-hmm.
So if Trump wins, I think he'll win big. And it has to be too big to rig.
Yes.
And that's my concern.
That's my concern.
Too big to rig. All
he
right.
needs a couple of states where he just blows it out. A couple of the swing states.
With that, guys, we're going to head out to break. We'll be right back with more Real Estate Chalk Talk. Log on to our website, hittnergroup.com, Hittner group.com, or give us a call on the phone, 612-627-8000. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. We got a fun few minutes here coming up here. We've got Mark Ostrom's with us, and we're going to be talking about the Joy Collaborative, joycollaborative.com. And a couple of things. First of all, we want to talk about how the organization started, what its mission is, and upcoming events that you've got planned. Let's just first back up and start with you. And as the founder of the Joy Collaborative,
why?
What is that? First, what is the Joy Collaborative?
Well, I think the first thing for your listeners, Keith, is don't promise fun. Don't overpromise and underdeliver, because we could be on that train right now. But,
okay.
So the Joy Collaborative, our mission is to create empowering spaces for youth with life-limiting conditions.
Okay.
We do that because every person can benefit from a space that supports them.
All right. So now let's get back to that's the mission.
Yep.
How did you think of that mission? What made you think of that mission? And what was your background that enabled you to provide that service?
Mm-hmm. So my original degree going out of college was music ed.
Okay.
And I was going to have the funkiest white band in the western suburbs. That was my dream. We were going to play Stevie Wonder and all that.
Go.
And that was my dream. And then my dream got shattered because there were no jobs available.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, why am I doing this? And the pay was not great on top of that. So I'm like, I either am going to have to work for a small town for a long time, which didn't suit me, or just take a break. So I took a break, went back to school for design, so architecture and interiors. During that time, I had worked with families with cleft palate. So cleft palate is a genetic condition. It's treated when you're young, typically, and that clinic can be very expensive, because there's surgery, there's occupational therapy,
many
therapy,
surgeries,
lots, and it would get very expensive.
Okay.
But I would meet these families. I'd be working with them for a long time. Their claims were constantly being denied. You're not dental. You're not medical.
Oh.
And
well,
so
wait a minute.
Yep.
So how did you go from interior design to cleft palate?
that was my job when I was going to school.
Okay.
So
All right,
I
got
worked
it.
there.
All right.
Smart
understand.
kid. I worked 30 hours a week. They paid my tuition at 75%.
Okay.
God bless the university.
Super.
Thank you for that. So it was an awesome job, but it really got me excited about support for these families.
Okay.
And to deliver a very large check to them after bouncing around for a long time. And I remember one time a family started crying because they barely made their mortgage payment. And I was like, this is the best job ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the best job ever. And so that has stuck with me all these years. My first real built project out of college was the Rainforest Cafe at the Mall of America.
Okay.
And that's really all about experience.
Yes,
entertainment,
right.
And for me to be part of that creative team, and I was right out of school, I'm like, this is amazing. Look what happens when people come into this space.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember when it opened, that 3-hour waits were
yeah.
common. You're not going there for the food.
Right.
No offense, but I mean that was the thing. And I was like, hey, like, why can't we bring that kind of energy and excitement to these families who are struggling?
Mm-hmm.
Because those families who are struggling, you can imagine, you're lucky. Maybe you can have 2 jobs between the two of you because you've got to run to all these appointments, or you're battling with insurance or provider. You're doing all these appointment setups. Like, there's a lot of stress on top of the family dynamics, if they're siblings and there's just a lot going on. I'm like, how can we help them? And I'm like, we can help them by removing barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're doing.
Removing barriers. Okay, so let's go through the formation then. So now you're working in industry, you might as well say, in your design business,
Design, yep.
and now you decide that you're going to form the Joy Collaborative. So walk us through that process, and what was that like, and how did you do that?
So I had the idea when I was in college about a pediatric focused design firm.
Okay.
And this was pre-internet, so I did the best research I could.
Sure.
I only found one person in, Israel. I'm like, well, what's going on?
Not going to help.
Like, you must be crazy. Like, because I'm like, there's people wiser than me, like more senior than me, and I was like, okay. So I'd put it away every once in a while. I'd pull it back, and it was like, okay. Well, after my design career, when I decided to move into sales, and I was in sales for a number of years, I got to the point where it was very transactional for me. There was no people element here. There was no design necessarily aspect to it. And I was diagnosed with depression. And I was like, well, this ain't going to last.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, I knew what I needed to do.
Right.
And I was called to do this work. I'm absolutely convinced. And just basically started. I took that business plan out. I'm like, this is what we're going to do. Called it Make-A-Wish. They gave me probably one of the hardest projects I think we'll ever have in the history of our company.
Was that your first one? Wow.
What was that?
There were 2 previous designers who backed out of the project. It was for a family of 6. And they had this boy, Kodiak. Kodiak had Charge syndrome, which is a super rare genetic disorder. Every letter is a condition that you have.
Okay.
So he was, at the time, I'm going to forget, 13, deaf, blind, cognitively delayed, not taking to Braille, GI issues.
Yeah.
So he can't read a book, he can't watch a movie. So his family is on watch 24/7. His house is locked from the inside because he'll break.
Bold.
And so when I met him for the first time, and I'll never forget, it was awesome. It was a Saturday morning, and his sister had a sleepover the night before. And so it was a little, the house was kind of turned upside down a little bit. And we're in the dining room, and he comes around the corner with this giant carving knife that he picked up from the kitchen. And his mom's like, normal behavior in their house, not in mine.
Right.
Yeah. And but it just really struck home, like how quickly things can change for somebody like Kodiak.
Yes.
And so it was really all about working with his care team, and there was the Deaf Blind Association. There were all these different people who we consulted with on the project, his teachers and all this stuff. And so we created a 14 by 14. The family had left a room that was 14 by 14 by 14. And we created a lofted space called Kodiak's Den. That was a multi-sensory space. So he could then be left there for a period of time by himself.
Sure.
So there was a slide. There was one of our amazing plumbers made a xylophone for him out of copper tubing.
Wow.
There was locked storage because he was rifling all the time. Like he's rifling through all his stuff trying to find the thing. Well, Mom spends 2 hours cleaning up, and then 10 minutes later the bomb went off.
Right.
So, we had to control that and make it look good. And all these different activities for him in there, whether it was, he loved being read to, even though he wasn't comprehending necessarily, but just a cozy space for the vibration. And I mentioned the plumbing pipe xylophone thing, so he'd love that. So it was the hardest assignment I think we'll ever have. Is so all the sensory inputs that are dysregulated.
Right.
So how did you make the determination then of what to do when he's got so many challenges? I mean, what was going to be effective? What was going to you thought, this is going to be the greatest thing ever, and then he ignores it.
Well, we spent a lot of time with the family, and like I said, we bring in these other specialists who work with him specifically.
Okay.
So we get
they had experience.
Yeah,
with
we're
him.
not just guesstimating. We're going to try. No. It was like he loves slides. Right? He loves these particular textures. He loves bark. He loves climbing. So we had removable climbing walls in there that the dad could set up. There were safety harnesses and stuff that he could go up and down and then take it away. And all of a sudden, underneath the lofted space, there's a swing and a hammock where he could be by himself and hang out with his dogs. So it was really about how much variety can we build into this small footprint for somebody who's seeking. And
how long was that project?
Well, the project unfortunately was longer than expected because his older sister had leukemia.
Oh, geez.
And it came back
No, it's a devastating
before we started construction. and she passed. And
Oh,
so there
wow.
was a pause of
Sure.
6 months probably. It was super hard. I mean, you
Yeah.
can imagine. On top of everything else,
Yes.
super hard. So you asked me a question, how long did it take? But I wanted to answer with, not only did it take a long time to get it done, but we're having our celebration party. And we have to bring all these therapists in, and the teacher and the family and the friends, whatever. And the dad, who's this big burly like security installer guy, Phil is just this big macho guy. And he pulls me aside and he was crying. I'm gonna lose it. This is 6 years ago.
Right.
He's crying and he's like, Mark, last week we had 2 other young people over from Kodiak School, and that was the first time he ever had friends over.
Wow.
And he's
But
15.
He's going to school. He's 15 years
He's
old.
special needs,
Yeah,
special.
Yes, yeah, right.
But he had never had friends over to his house.
Wow.
And I sat there and I
Wow.
was just like, wow. And I keep calling it the rainforest effect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
If you have the coolest space,
Yes.
people come.
Right.
So that's what happens, and we've seen that happen time and time again. Now, there's a lot of control that has to happen with
Yes.
people
Right,
accessing
right,
your space.
Right. Right.
And we have the opposite problem. My favorite story, we talked about this person before we got on the phone, or before we got on the podcast, and she had the opposite problem where she called me on a Saturday, and she's like, I've got 10-year-olds in here who won't leave the house. So now she has the
Because they love it
opposite
so-
problem,
yeah.
and her biggest fear was her son growing up alone because
Yeah.
of his disability.
Sure.
and
Right,
what he
right.
has.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's got to
So
be
it was-
fear for
it was just
everybody.
The
It's
best and worst color.
Okay,
at the
we
same
got
time.
48 seconds
Okay.
left. I want to just get in
Yes.
in this segment, so just a mention of the Jingle and Mingle. Tell us what that event is about and when it is, and just the details on the event, Jingle and Mingle.
So it's an open event, open to the community, anybody who'd like to come. We have a co-host in Sheila, and just be careful. But that's just amazing. You guys, this is year number 3. It's a fun night.
It is a fun
It's
night.
a fun night. We try to build fun into it. It is a fundraiser for us. We need fuel in the tank. We're a nonprofit.
Right.
End of story. Right. But this year, we've got fancy Mr. Macy's Santa Claus showing up. We're using your pool to
Yep.
do a bracket game. So it'll be a good time, and you get to hear about the mission and meet other people who are supporters.
Jingle and Mingle at the Healthy Home Mansion, 4705 Hittner Point. We'll get more details on that right after these messages. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. We're speaking with Mark Ostrom from the Joy Collaborative. When we went out to break, we were talking about the Jingle and Mingle event. That's at November 8th.
Yep.
At the Healthy Home Mansion, 4705 Hittner Point. Go on our website, ourhealthyhomes.com. And
Click on the events tab.
Click on the events tab, and you can see it. Register there so we can get a head count, a number of people coming, and Sheila will connect with you and give you the details on that. It is a fundraising event, and a lot of fun going on there. What are some of the contributors that are helping the Joy Collaborative, and what kind of help do you need?
Well, in nonprofit, the rule is time, treasure, talent.
Okay.
So the treasure's coming from donors, people doing through the year, whatever. Like, that's the treasure part, which is great, and that can be anybody from $5 or $10 donation up to some of our corporate funders, which is
Amazing.
So the time part is whatever you're interested in.
Mhm.
What's interesting to me is the quickest way to get past stress, which is so prevalent right now, is to do something for somebody else.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
And
agree.
Yes.
you don't have to spend money to do it.
Exactly.
You could reach out to us and say, hey, I love Sheila. I'd love to plan events.
Yeah.
Where can I help?
Yep.
Like something as simple as that. We can decide how we work together, and we've got things going on all year round. So there's no lack of places to plug people in. And then the talent comes from not only our designers and builders who help make our joy rooms, but it's also our board of incredibly talented and smart, dedicated people. It's people who help us with accounting, legal, all the stuff you need for regular business. But as a nonprofit, it's a little bit different. You're relying in some cases on volunteers to make that happen. So,
And then, of course, money.
Always
absolutely,
money.
they
Yep,
got to put
always.
fuel in the tank. I mean,
Right.
this is a big year for us. I see growth ahead of us because you're talking to the only full-time employee of Joy Collaborative, and that's not sustainable, right? That's never going to grow with one.
Yep.
So the need is great, and the workers are few, as they say.
And they can go to joycollaborative.org
100%.
and look at the events that are coming up. We would love to see you at the house on November 8th.
Absolutely.
And so go to the events tab and check it out. Check out the other event.
So you've got more projects probably coming, more requests than you can possibly fulfill. So what's the vetting process like? Just to kind of walk us through that for someone who's listening to, oh, God, my grandchild needs help.
Well, it's kind of a twofold problem. It's kind of a chicken and egg. It's like without more staff, we can't deliver more projects.
Mm-hmm.
So we're stuck right now. We've got 20 requests in the pipeline right now.
Okay.
We're averaging 4 projects a year. So if it's your friend, you're waiting a long time at this point. And that's the reason for us to focus on this growth aspect.
Okay. So if you can raise funds, you can hire people.
That's right. That is our goal.
So when you look at a project to do, how do you screen them?
Yeah.
I mean, because you can't do them all.
No. We can't do them all. And now we're at a point of it can't become first come, first serve.
No.
Because we are a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing this year is leaning into revenue generating projects.
Okay.
And those can be very healthy for us to do because people see the work.
Such as
I don't know if you haven't been to the Firefighters for Healing project, have you? Okay. So that's attached by Skyway to Hennepin Health.
Okay.
It's a space for burn survivors.
All right.
Specifically children. Burn is the most painful recovery process in healing. Through that, there were some leaders at M Health who saw it and were excited by it and called and said, basically, when can you start? So we are now designing the first of 4 spaces for them for outpatient mental health. 3 are outpatient mental health. 1 is another project that's coming along. But to your point, to vet our projects, it has to be, does it make sense for us to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we just had a board meeting where we're not really flipping the script, but it's like if we want to survive, we have to lean into where the money is coming.
Right.
We have to do that first. And then the in-kind projects like the Kodiak project can be a spin-off of the generosity that we pull into the Joint Collaborative.
So then those projects for mHealth or whether are paid for projects.
Right.
Now that you got a revenue stream, now you can take the revenues and use it to fund.
But we still have the accounting fees. We
Mhm.
still have the business
Absolutely.
fees. So to be able to kind of work both sides of it as a nonprofit, it was like this was just added a lot of clarity to me. And it's a model like Tom Shoes, if you know Tom Shoes, other companies in kind of the social benefit space where that's how they operate. And so we can still pursue grants as a nonprofit toward any number of projects. So to us, it's like we kind of had the cart before the horse.
Right.
And now we got to have the horse come first.
Because that's where you're at.
Because that's where we're at. And that, again, will lead us to growth. And that is our vision for this, for our company, is that we have a design division who can then take all of these projects on and help with that pipeline.
And the design division is within the Joy
Yes.
Collaborative, so it's part of the nonprofit. It's
Yes,
just
that's our vision for the future. It
Okay.
doesn't exist today. Right
Okay.
now, we're using in-kind goods and services
Right.
from the design community.
And then from that design community, I mean, it's just like how do you, who steps up, or how do you reach out to them? Because it's a never-ending thing.
Right.
You know, it's just like Sheila and I, we get calls like all the time. Of course, we have no talent, so the only thing that's left is money. So, but the thing of it is it never ends.
Yeah.
And so a carpenter or a plumber or a pipe fitter says, yes, I'll do this. And all of a sudden, before he's done, there's another one he could do. And pretty soon it's like, hey, I got a business to run over here.
Yeah, we have a pretty robust database
Okay.
of people that we can pull from. A typical project for us has 30 volunteers of varying skill sets, from the plumber to the contractor to the roofer to the building supplier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the value of these projects, once you add that all up, is significant.
Yes,
it's
I
very
bet.
significant.
I bet.
So we have to balance what we can do realistically with our employee against the demand. And so you asked about the vetting process, if I can talk about that a second.
Yeah.
So, because we're dealing a lot of times with volunteers, I'll go to a typical Joy Room project. We have to make sure it's safe for 30 volunteers to come in.
Sure.
So, we have an online application. Anybody can fill out an application. We'll screen the person over the phone, make sure it feels like a fit. We really need to make sure that they're energized about the project as opposed to a gimme.
Okay.
Because we have had that.
Right.
And if somebody's just into it for the free thing,
Yeah.
Oh.
we don't get the best results.
Okay.
It has to be somebody who's really struggling. There's some really stress that we can handle that really wants to be part of a team
Okay.
rather than just a recipient.
Okay.
So there's a lot of nuance that goes on here. We present them to the board, and then the board, we try to figure out based
All
on
right.
capacity and what's already in the pipeline, what we can move forward with.
Tell us about your board then.
Oh my gosh. So I started the company in 2020. We became a sanctioned nonprofit. We think we had a board of 3, and it was kind of a friends and family thing, and we
Yeah.
did what we could with
Sure.
3 people.
Yeah.
Now we're a board of 10, working our way towards 15 in the next 2 years. And we have expertise from accounting, legal, marketing, events, strategy, communications, fundraising, and then just community connections in general, because that's really important, right, as we're out talking to new people. So that's what the board looks like. We meet on a regular basis. They are incredibly motivated. It's a blessing to have these people. I mean, I look and go, where did you come from?
Yeah, right.
How did this happen? The Joy Mobile, we're not going to have time probably to talk about it, but we went from 4 volunteers last year to 150 this year.
Wow.
And a request from the fair to come back. So, I mean, it's just how. I step
Yeah.
back and go, how?
How'd
It
that
was me
happen?
working at my kitchen table for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Need
What-
somebody to just catch the dream with you, and there you go. Which
Right.
you did. Which you have, right.
So we're talking about the Joy Collaborative, and it's joycollaborative.org.
Yeah.
Okay, I said .com and the last is .org. Joycollaborative.org. They can find all about it. There's some pictures on there and
100%.
some information on there. If someone wants to go there and they can do some research on their own and just kind of find out, get a feel for what the organization is about. We're having an event on November 8th at the Healthy Home Mansion. I encourage you to go online to ourhealthyhomes.com, and there's a tab. Click on the events tab. You can
Just
connect
scroll
with
down to
Sheila
it.
on there.
They're itemized by
or
date.
go to joycollaborative.org
Yep.
and register there. Easy to do. We're trying to get a handle on the head counts in terms of stuff. Lots of fun events are
We
going
got
to
some
be going
silent
on.
auction. Yep, we got a silent auction going. So if you've got a silent auction item you would love to donate, we will take it. The tickets are
$20.
$20, and you
Food
pay,
and beverage included.
what's that?
I said food and a drink ticket included.
Yes, and some fun games and the best Santa around for sure.
And if you're listening and if you have some influence with a corporate entity of any size that maybe would have a need for some kind of a facility or a room or a holding area. I don't know if I call it a holding area, but you know what I mean. Just an area that could use some design help. For sure, call and give you an opportunity to sit down and plan something out and maybe put your organization really above and beyond. I'm just thinking of health clubs. Look at all the health clubs around.
100%.
Like we're founders of Lifetime, and there's a lot of work that could be done there in some of those things all
100%.
over the Twin Cities, all
100%.
over the country. Actually, that would be a fabulous thing. We're out of town for this segment. When we come back,
Out of town. We're out of time.
out of time for this segment when we come back. The Joy Collaborative, Jingle and Mingle, November 8th. Check it out. Bring your checkbook.
And a friend.
And a friend. There
And
you
a
go.
friend.
There you go.
We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group and with Kelvin Kamick, ladies and gentlemen. And we are talking money, the big money segment of the program. Rates are great, and they're going down
Okay.
next year.
Are they?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
next year. They're
Hey,
going
tell me your connection with Hope Collaborative. We just had them on for a couple segments here. What's
Joy Collaborative.
Joy Collaborative?
Joy Collaborative is a nonprofit that a group of designers, interior designers, commercial interior designers, formed this nonprofit to go into the homes of children with disabilities, and they will create a space for the child that he can or she can live in and enjoy and be comfortable in with whatever their disability is at no cost to the family. So it's a very good thing. And now they're doing larger projects, like they did one with the firefighters with the burn center downtown. So same thing, the burn a burn is the most painful injury you can possibly have. And so then you got children who have been burned in fires and so forth. They come from all over the country. And so then they create this space for them to be in and their families to be in as well. They're doing some pretty remarkable work, and they're trying to expand. The need is great. They've got so many projects that they could do, but they need people. Of course,
money.
With people, you need money because you have to hire. Everything right now is volunteer. They're volunteering this. The materials are donated and all that, but you can only do so much on that level.
Yep.
And
how did you get connected with them?
We've been working with them for a long time. This is the third year that they'll have their fundraiser at the mansion. So, it was a while. I don't remember how we got connected with them, but we've been helping them grow and been supporting them for a few years now. And
nice.
It's just it's one of those things that you just
hard not to.
Right. I mean, you see the people. We'll have some people at the mansion on November 9th, that Friday 8th Friday night. We'll have some people there that have received their services, given their testimony about how it's impacted their families and kids. And one gal, I mean, she was just wouldn't talk to anyone, just was isolating. Wouldn't talk to anybody. And her parents are afraid that because of her disability, she wouldn't have any friends. Now her friends are coming over to her house and spending time at the house because she's got this wonderful space.
That's great.
And then there's the Joymobile, is a vehicle that they have that's a sensory vehicle that they can take out. It was at the state fair and was actually donated by another Coldwell Banker agent out of Eden Prairie. Terrific thing that when people, kids sometimes, especially with autism, they get in a loud crowd like that and they kind of freak out.
Yeah.
Go inside that thing and in like 10 minutes they're calm.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Thanks for having them on.
Yeah.
Let's talk money real quick here. Rates are up.
Up
7%.
No way.
Yeah, we're at 7. National average 7.03%.
Gouging.
No, I wish.
Price gouging.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Kamala will fix that.
She's gonna. Yep.
Yeah.
She'll put a cap on it,
So,
and you won't be able to even get one.
Yeah. Well, here are the headlines, right? Key Fed inflation rates hit 2.1% as expected. Pending home sales jumped 7.4% as mortgage rates fell. That was prior to. Private job creation totaled a stunning 233,000 in October. I mean, the economic data is just fantastic coming into election week. So, I mean, the biggest thing in our world is we're just saying we just got to get through the election right now and then let everything settle out.
I think that's the whole real estate world.
And that's so that's kind of what we're hoping for and just waiting for a little bit. It's a lot of our refinances you lock right away, but a lot of the new refinances you just don't have a lot. I mean, you're at 7. We don't have. It was when we could flirt with 5.99 or high 5s. That was great, but we've literally gone up a point again. Just like doggone it.
What's the highest rate you locked in the last 8 months?
8.875.
Okay.
Yep. Just
so
under
like
9.
That guy could refi.
No, because it's an investment property, second home, blah blah blah. Right. So he's got a good rate at that. Right. So
for what it is.
So a couple things I wanted to touch on today. So rates are a little bit higher. We're back to doing buy downs. We're doing some stuff like that. But I really think rates are going to settle out. I think we're going to see some correction. I don't think the Fed's going to make a move, though.
I don't either.
Yeah, that's I think what the reading I do. That's what they think is leading to this increase in the rates. Is just everyone was anticipating
a decrease.
50, and now another 25, 50.
But initially it was like a quarter.
Yeah.
And they went 50, so now they're,
Now they're like,
that's good enough for now.
We're probably good. And everybody's like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Turn it up.
There we go again.
Yep.
So
because there's nothing that's changed in the economic structure.
Right.
That would change anything.
No.
It's the same as it was a year ago. I mean, the flirting with the rates is just a political ploy because there's nothing structural in the economy that has changed.
And the inflation has calmed, but it didn't go down.
No.
You have to have it go down.
People
don't understand.
Prices haven't
Once
come
you've
down.
gone up 10, 15%, and now you brag a year later that we only went up 1%, you're up 16%.
On the new new bench.
Come on.
There's a new benchmark there, right?
Yeah.
Gosh dang.
Exactly.
It's I'm so frustrated just with like even our industry and some of the just like, come on, people. We're just like so not smart sometimes. So got certified for reverse mortgage, which was fun. So so we're in that space a lot more. We had Lisa on probably a couple months ago, talking about reverse and just the opportunity that exists there. So, so I'm
so briefly for people who are
that.
listening, what are you talking
Reverse
about?
mortgage is basically a way to stop making that mortgage payment once you hit age 62.
Okay.
And you can stop making the payment. You can use it as a line of credit. You can take cash out.
You're basically spending the equity in your house.
Spending some equity in the house
Okay.
because you feel like, hey, I need the money now versus I need to leave it to my heirs, or I need to leave this huge chunk. Or I was talking to a financial planner this week that they're like, well, this is really good money to use because it's non-taxable income, right? We have assets over here that are growing really well this year, so we don't want to start tapping into that. So let's use the equity here. This asset is growing, tax-free income. So it's a financial tool which has been really fun for me.
And that asset continues to appreciate over time, and so that
it does.
new
So
appreciation stays with the property, right?
It does. It actually increases your line of credit. When you do there's a fixed or an arm you can do on these reverses, and you kind of want to do the arm, to be honest, because it gives you a line of credit, and that line of credit increases. There's an interest rate gain every year on that. So it's like you're increasing your line of credit over time, so you can peel some of that off. You could say, hey, I need, the gal I met with this week, she's like, I just need $2,000 a month. So can we structure it so I get $2,000 and I get some money right now to pay off these debts I have? So that's how we're going to structure it. So it's a really good financial tool for the right situation.
If I understand, theoretically, if your home is appreciating at 5%, and you have a 5% rate associated with your reverse mortgage, you can essentially take that money indefinitely and have the value of your property remain.
You could, if you didn't exceed it, correct? So it was kind of neat. Like, in this case, it's a sad situation, and the reverse is a good financial tool, like for successful, like, hey, we're doing this. And then the one I had, the reverse is really good for people who are really need-based, going, I don't have $20 to put, I can't get down to, I said, why don't we meet for a cup of coffee? And she said, well, could you come to my house because I don't have enough money for gas to get there. So I'm like, so one, gave her money for gas because I'm just like, feel bad, right? And went there, and she got scammed out of $90,000 because she was playing on your phone lottery, just kind of putzing, and then suddenly got phone calls like, hey, you won, congratulations, you won, send us this and you get your $5,000 reward. And she did that. And I guess, and I didn't know this, but if you get the last 4 digits of your credit card number, then they can search everything, and then they spent like $9,000 over at Mall of America, and then they did, and just kind of a habit of continuing some of this bad stuff.
Right.
So it's my heart just hurt for like, oh man, we got to help you get things cleaned up. I said, you take no more calls, stop taking calls, stop doing this. And now, so I see it as on, both those fronts. When people are in dire straits and say, gosh, her home's worth $429,000. She had an appraisal done 3 months ago. She owes $100,000, right? So she's got equity. She has no idea how to get it, and she wants to get rid of her house payment, which is $1,600 because there's. I mean, I'm just going through the budget, going, yeah,
so that works fantastic for her.
Wonderful deal. So anyway, so I'm super excited to get involved in that, and I think the people listening to our show as well know people who might be in that situation, and let's start having those conversations. Just a little bit more of a process, right? You have to do counseling, you have to do all this.
Make sure you know what you're getting into, eyes wide open.
Eyes wide open. So, but I like it. Yeah. And I think it'll be a nice addition to just the normal business that we do on the, helping people get in that, their new homes and refinances, and we'll add reverse into that mix heavy as well. So excited about that. I think rates will start to come back. We just got to get through the election and get a new administration going. So Kelvin Kamink, Loan Depot, 651-231-2500. Love to have a conversation.
Thank you for the golden nuggets of information,
Calvin.
Calvin.
It's good stuff.
Money man, Kelvin Kamink. Again, 651-231-2500. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. That's it for this week. Call us at 612-627-8000. That number again is 612-627-8000, and log on to our website, hittnergroup.com. We'll see you next week.